Hello everyone, thanks for joining. DC TechNet is your own channel, so do like, share and subscribe, and let's see what we have today. Okay, I would like to share something I learned over the years now. That is, nothing is easy and nothing is free. So let's see, on this note, let's see what we have on the agenda today. So before going ahead, we'll again understand group policy exceptions, and today will be the part 3 of our discussion. And in last 2 sessions we have already covered 2 exceptions, enforced and block inheritance, and today the agenda would be we will differentiate, or we will have a fight between enforced and block inheritance. So when I started understanding group policies, and when I started co-troubleshooting on group policy issues, I came across one question, and that was, what will happen when we implement enforced and block inheritance on the same OU hierarchy? So let me explain you what do I mean. So let's say we have this typical Active Directory OU structure. So we have OU10, OU20. We have enforced policy 8 on OU10, and we have also blocked the inheritance at OU20. So there is a mixed bag or combination of enforced and block inheritance. So the question which arises over here is, how many policies will be applied on OU20? So there can be a couple of answers over here. So one of the answers can be policy 4 and policy 5 only, as we have configured block inheritance on OU20. So no other policy will come from top. Only policy 4 and policy 5, which are directly linked to OU20, will be applied. Or there can be another answer, policy 4, 5 and 8 as enforce will override block inheritance. So this can be one of the answers. So the correct answer is answer B. Policy 4, 5 and policy 8 as enforced will override block inheritance. So remember one thing, if there is a fight between, conflict between enforced and block inheritance, enforced will always override block inheritance. So you need to make sure that whenever you troubleshoot or whenever you apply any new policy with enforced or block inheritance as an exception, we must make sure that this is how the normal behavior is. Enforced has higher precedence over block inheritance. So I hope you have understood how enforcement and block inheritance work together. So let's jump on to our labs, and we will configure block inheritance and enforcement on the same OU hierarchy. Welcome to the labs. Now we have again logged on to our London DC, and we will be exclusively working on this accounts OU, and we'll be blocking inheritance, and we will be also performing enforcement of policies. So this is our Active Directory. So our accounts OU is under EMEA, UK, then we have London, users, Under business users, we have our accounts OU. So it's right in the hierarchy of EMEA. So let me open up Group Policy Management Console now. So this is our Group Policy Management Console, and we have already highlighted the accounts OU, and there are 4 policies directly linked to the accounts OU: policies 7, 10, 11 and 12. So this is by default, nothing is yet configured. So first and foremost, what we'll do is, if you see over here, the default domain policy has the least or the lowest precedence. So that's the reason it's right at the end over here. So let us enforce this default domain policy, and as soon as we enforce this policy, the precedence will be right at the top over here. So let me simply right click on default domain policy and let me enforce the policy. And after enforcing the policy, let me right click and let me refresh the accounts OU again, and perfect. Now we can see that the default domain policy has the highest precedence now, so it has been enforced. Now what we'll do is, we will go ahead and perform something called as, say, we will block the inheritance at the accounts OU level. So ideally, if we block the inheritance, only these 4 policies must come up, but as we know that enforcement will always override block inheritance. So let me right click on the accounts OU and let me click on block inheritance, and see over here the policies which are directly linked to the accounts OU and the policy which is coming from top, that is the enforced policy, will be, say, only apply to the accounts OU. And if you observe over here, the policy which is enforced still has the highest precedence. So that policy will be, say, applied at the end, and that policy will override all the other policies if there is a conflict. Now if I say remove the enforcement from here, let me just uncheck it and then refresh the screen again. I'm just keeping the block inheritance as it is. I'm just simply removing the enforcement and refreshing the screen. So if you see over here, the default domain policy is gone from here now, because we have just configured enforcement over here, and the default domain policy, we have just configured block inheritance over here, and we have removed the default domain policies enforcement. Let me reinforce it again and let's see what happens. I'm right clicking again and enforcing it, and this time I'll right click again and refresh the screen and see over here the end result. The end result is again the default domain policy is right at the top, and it supersedes all the other policies because it has been enforced. So hope you have understood how the enforcement and block inheritance work together if they are, say, applied on the same OU hierarchy. Remember that enforcement will always and always have higher precedence over block inheritance. So let's summarize what we have seen today. So today we asked a question: what will happen when we implement enforced and block inheritance in the same OU hierarchy? So we understood there's a conflict between block inheritance and enforce, what will happen, and we found out that enforce has a higher precedence over block inheritance. So enforce will always win over block inheritance if we have block inheritance and enforce implemented in the same OU hierarchy. Hope you have enjoyed today's session. Thank you for joining, and if you feel this channel is helping you to learn anything new, and if you have learned anything new today, do like, share and subscribe the channel in your technical community, and enjoy your day.